Ready to go back in time. Because today, we're diving into Beirut,
Ooh, Beirut.
a city that's seriously old.
Seriously.
Like, we're talking over 5,000 years
Wow.
of history
I'm ready.
and culture.
I've been looking forward to this one.
And, well, just a whole lot of story to unpack.
Well, you've definitely got the material for it.
I
This Wikipedia article alone is, like, massive.
It's pretty mind-blowing, right?
It is. I mean, Beirut is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world.
Isn't that something?
To think it's been going strong for that long.
5,000 years. Just let that sink in for a minute.
And this article covers it all,
It does.
from ancient empires and, get this, Roman law.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Oh, well, a modern-day garbage crisis.
All right. Don't spoil the ending.
Right. We'll get there.
We will.
Yeah.
But first, let's go back, way back,
To the beginning.
to ancient Beirut.
Okay, so picture this.
5,000 years ago. What are we looking at?
Well, if you needed to quench your thirst, ancient Beirut was the place to be.
Oh.
The name itself, Beirut, it actually comes from the Phoenician word Beirut,
Which means?
wells. Even back then, people were drawn to that prime coastal location.
Smart.
They knew where the good water was.
So we've got the Phoenicians, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
What about even earlier than that? We're talking seriously ancient history here.
You're not wrong.
Like, what did Beirut even look like before it was, well, Beirut?
Well, we have to dig deep, literally.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Archaeologists have actually found these incredible flint tools there.
Really? Flint tools?
Yep, and they date back to prehistoric times.
Prehistoric, so we're talking before written records.
Exactly, which is what makes these tools so important.
How so?
They tell a story. See, these weren't just nomads passing through.
Right.
These were skilled craftspeople making a life for themselves in this bustling coastal settlement. And that's really just the beginning. And see, what really put Beirut, that's what the Romans called it later, on the map
Yeah.
was its law school.
Law school. Okay, that doesn't exactly scream ancient civilization to me.
I know, right?
But I'll bite. What's so special about this law school?
Well, this wasn't just any law school.
Okay.
This was the law school of the Roman Empire, a major hub of legal scholarship.
You're kidding.
We're talking legal giants,
Yeah.
people like Papinian and Ulpian, shaping legal thought as we know it today.
I'm listening.
Imagine, some of the core principles they debated and refined right there in Beirut
No way.
became the very foundation of Justinian's Pandex.
And that is?
Think of it like a massive legal encyclopedia for the Byzantine Empire.
Wow. So what you're saying is ideas debated in the classrooms of ancient Beirut actually shaped legal systems for centuries to come.
It's true.
Right?
Pretty incredible, huh?
Okay, I see why you geeked out about the law school, but hold on. We can't stay in ancient Rome forever.
As much as I might like to.
Right. Although those togas did look pretty comfy.
Right.
But we've got a lot more ground to cover.
We do.
Because Beirut has seen a lot of history,
Oh, yeah.
conquests, empires, you name it.
It's been through it all.
So give us the quick and dirty.
Okay.
How do we get from Roman law stars to modern-day Beirut?
All right, buckle up because we're about to time travel through centuries here.
I'm ready.
Okay, so after the Romans, you've got the Byzantines,
Okay.
then the Islamic conquests, the Crusades, you name it.
So Beirut was kind of a hot commodity.
Always.
Yeah.
It was the prize everyone wanted. Changed hands more times than I can count.
Wow.
And then it's been centuries under Ottoman rule.
Which is where we get
So tell me, you know.
the architecture
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the culture, that Ottoman influence.
Exactly. It's still woven into the fabric of the city today.
It's amazing how those traces of the past linger, you know?
I know, right? It's like layers upon layers of history, all stacked on top of each other.
And then, of course, there's that period when Beirut was a French mandate.
Ah, yes. That's where you get that nickname.
Hit me with it.
The Paris of the Middle East.
Oh, la la.
The French, they were quite smitten with Beirut, you see.
And who can blame them?
Right. There's just something about this city.
Paris of the Middle East. Okay, you've piqued my interest.
Right. It's a fitting title.
But I'm guessing things weren't all croissants and cafes forever.
Well, the French influence is definitely there. It's impossible to miss.
I bet.
But you're right. Beirut's story doesn't end with a perfectly baked baguette.
So what happened? Fill me in.
Well, in 1933, Lebanon, and with it, Beirut, declared independence.
Independence. That's a pretty big deal.
It was a pivotal moment for the country.
And that's when things really started to take off for Beirut, right?
Absolutely.
It became this global hub, right? Like a magnet for artists and intellectuals.
It was the place to be.
And the money. Don't forget the money.
Oh, the money followed too. You're not wrong there.
But then, of course, there's the Civil War.
Yeah.
We can't talk about Beirut without acknowledging that period.
No, we can't. It's a complicated and painful chapter in the city's story.
And a reminder that behind the headlines, there are real people. Real lives impacted by these historical events.
It's easy to forget that, isn't it, when you're looking at dates and names on a page?
It is.
But those stories, those individual experiences, they're essential to understanding Beirut.
To understanding its resilience.
Absolutely. Because even after the war, and we're talking about destruction on a massive scale here,
it's hard to even imagine.
Beirut rebuilt.
It's incredible.
The economy bounced back, too, stronger than ever.
But I'm guessing it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Well, no. I mean, there were new challenges to face.
Like what? You've got to give me the details.
Okay, so remember how we talked about those banking secrecy laws?
How could I forget? Beirut, the financial paradise, right?
Right. Well, that reputation, it didn't disappear overnight.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
Beirut was, and still is, a major financial center for the Arab world.
So even after the Civil War?
Especially after. See, investors, they were drawn to the lack of regulations, the free economic system.
So it's like his phoenix rising from the ashes, but...
There's always a but, right?
Here is.
Well, while all these skyscrapers were being built in the newly rebuilt Beirut Central District, a different kind of crisis was brewing on the streets.
Oh, no. What now?
A garbage crisis.
A garbage crisis? Seriously?
I'm not kidding. We're talking mountains of garbage, literally piling up in the streets.
How does that even happen?
It all started with the closure of a major landfill.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it just spiraled from there. Political gridlock, corruption, you name it.
Oh, wow. So it's like this stark contrast, right?
Exactly.
You have the city that's known for its beauty, its resilience, and then on the other hand, you have this very real, very messy problem.
And this wasn't just a minor inconvenience. This garbage crisis, it sparked massive protests.
Really?
Well, yeah. There was this movement, they call themselves You Stink.
You Stink. I kind of love that name.
Definitely gets your attention, right?
It does.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did they ever figure out the whole garbage situation?
Well, they found a temporary solution. A new landfill site was opened.
Temporary.
Yeah, unfortunately. But even though it's temporary, the whole crisis, it exposed something deeper.
Deeper? How so?
It brought to light all these underlying tensions in Lebanese society.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Corruption, lack of basic services, the list goes on. These are issues that sadly continue to affect the country today.
It's a reminder that even in a place as ancient, as seemingly permanent as Beirut,
Right.
the story's still being written.
Absolutely.
It's a city that's constantly grappling with its past, its present, and trying to figure out its future.
And that's what makes it so fascinating to study, to learn about.
It's true, no city stays frozen in time, and Beirut is the perfect example with all those layers upon layers of history. But let's be real, we can't talk about Beirut and only talk about garbage all day.
I know, right? There's so much more to this city.
So much more. What about its cultural scene? I've heard the nightlife is legendary.
Oh, it definitely lives up to the hype.
Does it?
Trust me, there are entire neighborhoods that, come alive after dark.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Where do we need to go? What are the hot spots?
Well, if you want that, classic Beirut nightlife experience,
Yeah.
Rumino and Rougarou are the places to be.
Okay, you're going to have to forgive my pronunciation. Can you say those again for our listeners who are, like me, and adding this to their must-visit list?
Of course, it's Rumino and Rougarou. They're right in the heart of the city and known for that energetic vibe. Lots of bars, clubs, that kind of thing.
So a good mix of locals and tourists.
Oh, definitely. But if you're looking for something a little more, laid back.
A little more chill.
Yeah, exactly. Head to Badaro. That's where you'll find me, probably sipping on some Lebanese wine at some trendy cafe.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, so we've got our nightlife sorted, but we can't just party all day and night.
Well, you could try.
True. But what else is there to do in Beirut?
Well, you could spend weeks exploring the city's museums, and that's just the beginning.
Seriously? What are some of the highlights?
Well, the National Museum of Beirut is a must-see.
What's so special about it?
It takes you on this amazing journey through thousands of years of Lebanese history and archaeology. It's incredible.
I can imagine. Okay, what else?
Then there's the Sursock Museum.
Okay, tell me more.
It's housed in this beautiful old mansion, and they focus on modern and contemporary art. It's a nice change of pace from the ancient stuff.
I bet. All right, I need to know, is there like a hidden gem? A museum that's a little off the beaten path?
Oh, absolutely. You have to check out the Mineral Museum.
Minerals! Okay, I'm intrigued, but sell me on it.
They have this incredible collection of minerals from all over the world.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And, get this, they even have a pterodactyl fossil.
Wait, did you say pterodactyl?
I did. Pretty cool.
Okay, you had me at pterodactyl. That's going straight to the top of my list.
I knew you'd like that one.
But we can't talk about Beirut and not talk about the fashion.
True.
I mean, Beirut has a reputation for being a style capital.
And for good reason. There's just this, like, unique sense of style you find in Beirut. It's a blend of European chic and Middle Eastern flair.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And it's not just about the local boutiques either, although those are amazing too.
Oh!
We're talking internationally renowned designers, people like Elie Saab, Zuhair Murad, Reem Akra.
No way. Those are big names.
Big names, who all started right there in Beirut.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It really is. Beirut has this incredible creative energy.
You know, this is why I love these deep dives. It's like taking a crash course on, well, everything. We've gone from ancient law schools to pterodactyls to designer gowns, all in a one episode.
It's been quite a ride, hasn't it?
It has. But before we send our listeners off to book their flights to Beirut, let's bring it all back to the beginning, to that meeting they have coming up where they need to know everything about Beirut.
Ah, yes. Our listener is about to become the Beirut expert.
Right? So what are the key takeaways here? What do they absolutely need to know?
Well, for starters, Beirut is a city with a past as rich and layered as, well, baklava comes to mind.
And just as delicious. I'm guessing that's from personal experience.
Uh-huh, maybe. But it's true. Beirut has this incredible history, and it's still very much alive in the present. It's a city of complexities, of contradictions, but above all, it's a city with an undeniable energy.
It's like this place where the ancient world collides with modern skyscrapers, and somehow it just works.
Exactly. It's a hub for finance, a haven for artists, and a city that's constantly rebuilding, reinventing itself.
And let's not forget that spirit, that resilience that just radiates from Beirut.
You're right. It's a city that's been through so much, but it always finds a way to bounce back, to celebrate life.
It sounds like one of those places you can't fully understand until you've experienced it for yourself.
I think that's true of a lot of places, but especially Beirut.
It makes you want to hop on a plane and go explore, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, on that note, I think we've done our job here today.
I agree. We've armed our listener with more than enough Beirut knowledge to impress their colleagues.
And hopefully inspired them to learn even more.
Absolutely. Go explore, talk to the locals, wander through the streets, try all the food, soak in the atmosphere.
Because that's how you truly experience a city as vibrant and alive as Beirut.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time.